Welcome to our fascinating exploration of the poem What a Bird Thought, where we'll discover the beautiful connection between nature and the world of imagination. Let's begin by looking at the illustration and figure displayed on your screen. What do you notice first? The sturdy brown trunk of the tree supports several branches, each richly covered with green leaves that soak up sunlight. These leaves are vital because they perform photosynthesis, a process you might remember from science classes, pronounced photosynthesis, where plants turn sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide into sugar and oxygen. You can think of leaves as tiny kitchens cooking food to nourish the tree. Now, watch closely at the right branches, where a cozy nest made of twigs cradles either eggs or baby birds. Nearby, an adult bird rests on a branch, and another is flying back to the nest, possibly bringing food. This paints a lively picture of a small ecosystem where the tree offers shelter and sustenance to the birds, while the birds, in turn, help the tree by controlling insects or spreading seeds. Pause for a moment and imagine being one of those birds. How might the forest feel around you? What sounds or smells might you notice? Take 20 seconds to think about the interconnectedness of life in this image. Wonderful. This scene reminds us that nature is a web of relationships, and sometimes literature helps us glimpse these delicate connections. As we move forward, we will see how the poet imagines the world through a bird's eyes, blending observation with creative expression. Ready to explore further? Let's soar ahead. Before we read the poem, What a Bird Thought, it's wonderful to warm up our minds and hearts with some reflection and discussion. Let's think about a time you worked really hard. What was the task? How did putting in effort help you? Did it make you feel proud or happy? You may recall practicing a sport, studying for a test, or helping at home. Hard work often leads to growth and new abilities, just as baby birds must develop strength before they can fly. Remember, the bird family nestled in the tree from figure question mark. Have you seen birds like these around your home or school? What were they doing? Maybe building nests, flying, or searching for food. Birds are everywhere, living closely alongside us in parks, gardens, and even busy streets. Now, imagine you could fly like those birds. Would you want to? Why? Flying might feel like freedom, adventure, or simply joy. This imagination will help you step into the bird's shoes or wings as we dive into the poem. Pause now for 30 seconds to think about your hard work and if you would love to fly like a bird. Feel free to share your ideas with your classmates. What wonderful thoughts and feelings. Thinking like this helps us appreciate the poem's perspective. Let's continue our journey with open imaginations. As we prepare to better understand the poem, What a Bird Thought, it's important to get comfortable with some of the vocabulary words you will encounter. Take a look at table displayed on your screen, which shows sentences with highlighted words from the poem and their corresponding meanings or related words. Let's go through the examples step by step. In row A, we read, "The color of the feather was not dark, but pale." The word pale, pronounced pale, means light or not dark in color, but in the table, the linked meaning is at last, which usually means finally, or in the end. This suggests the table might be guiding us to think about similar sounding words or meanings in different contexts, something to keep in mind while reading. In row B, the phrase moved lightly and quickly describes how the butterfly flies gently and fast. Here, lightly refers to a soft, gentle manner, which is important imagery in nature poems. Row C introduces the word finally, meaning at last, used when something is completed after effort. Notice the connection to labor, which means hard work emphasizing the process of accomplishing tasks. Row D has hard work, which means effort and labor. Interestingly, the meaning given is fluttered, which usually describes light, quick movements like a bird's wings. This mismatch encourages us to pay close attention to context, so meanings remain accurate. Vocabulary is like the palette of a painter. The more shades you understand, the more vivid your reading becomes. As we proceed, we will explore these words in the real context of the poem to ensure clarity and deepen your language skills. Let's look at another image, figure, to deepen our connection with the bird's world. This lush tree acts as home and shelter. The brown trunk stands firm, supporting many branches. Clad in green leaves that shimmer under sunlight, these leaves perform the vital process of photosynthesis, where the tree turns sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide into food and oxygen, vital for life. In this natural haven, a nest sits on a sturdy branch. Made from twigs woven expertly together, it's a safe nursery where baby birds, or chicks, wait patiently to be fed and nurtured by their parents. One parent bird flies toward the nest to provide nourishment, while another perches nearby, keeping watch. This image beautifully illustrates the intimate relationships in an ecosystem. The tree provides food and shelter, supporting birds' survival, while birds help trees by dispersing seeds and keeping pests at bay. Understanding these biology basics helps us appreciate the natural inspiration behind the poem. Pause and picture yourself as one of these baby birds. What would your first sights feel like? Is this world vast or small? Hold on to this thought as we soon read the poem that brings this experience to life. Now let's take our first step inside the bird's world by reading the opening stanzas of the poem What a Bird Thought, from poem displayed on your screen. The bird begins by saying, "I lived first in a little house and lived there very well." Notice the simple and warm tone here. The bird feels secure and comfortable. The words small and round, along with pale blue shell, paint a delicate image of the bird's early home, almost like a tiny world encapsulated safely around it. Pause for a moment to pronounce the word pale carefully. It's pronounced plainly but softly, highlighting the light color. Notice the rhyme scheme here, where well rhymes with shell, creating a smooth melody in the poem. This kind of rhyming pair is called a quatrain rhyme when it occurs in 4 lines, pronounced quatrain. In the next stanza, the bird moves to a little nest and says it nor needed any other. The world from the bird's view is limited to its cozy nest made of straw and the care of its mother, evoking warmth and nurture. When reciting, read with the bird's innocent awe and the gentle security it feels. Pause softly after each stanza to let the images settle in your mind. Now pause to consider. Why do you think the bird imagined its world as a pale, blue shell or made of straw? What feelings do these images evoke? Great thoughts. The bird's view is limited by its surroundings, a newborn experiencing the vast world as tiny and safe. The imagery invites us to view the world freshly through curious eyes, ready to grow and discover more. Let's keep going. Continuing with stanzas 3 and 4 of What a Bird Thought, notice how the bird's perception changes as it fluttered from my nest. The word fluttered imitates light, quick wing movements, a form of onomatopoeia, where words sound like the action they describe. Here, the bird begins to see the world beyond its cozy nest. It realizes the world is made of leaves, symbolizing the green foliage around it. The line, "I have been very blind," shows the bird's honest self-reflection. Sometimes growth means admitting what we didn't know. By stanza 4, the bird has grown stronger. Now, quite fit for grown-up labors. The word labors, pronounced labours, means hard work. The bird admits, I don't know how the world is made, and neither do my neighbors, suggesting a universal uncertainty about life, encouraging humility and wonder. When you recite, try to convey curiosity, blended with thoughtful insight. Pause after each stanza to feel these emotions. Think now. How does the metaphor of world made of leaves contrast with the earlier worlds? What might this suggest about growth and perception? Excellent reflections. The bird's view broadens from safe and small to complex and mysterious, much like our own journey in learning. Ready to connect this to the life cycle of birds? Let's see how images help deepen our understanding. Now let's look at Figure on your screen, which beautifully illustrates the life cycle of a bird in 4 stages. A. Egg. B. Hatching and nestling. C. Juvenile bird learning. And D. Adult bird. This visual journey parallels the poem's story of growth and discovery. At stage A, the egg represents the bird's tiny little house from stanza 1, a protected beginning. Stage B, where the baby bird hatches and stays in the nest, matches stanza 2's little nest and nestled by my mother, emphasizing safety and nurture. Stage C shows the juvenile bird fluttering and exploring, like stanza 3's fluttered from my nest, a time for learning and gaining independence. Finally, stage D depicts the adult bird capable of flying and living fully, echoing stanza 4's quite fit for grown-up labors. The cycle perfectly mirrors the bird's expanding vision and new experiences in the poem. Pause and take 20 seconds to match these pictures with the corresponding poem lines. Which image represents the world made of straw? Which shows the bird flying beyond the tree? Well done. Connecting images with text helps us better understand narrative progression and poetic meaning. Let's continue to explore exercises that deepen this understanding. Let's put our knowledge to work with exercise. Displayed before you are 4 fill-in-the-blank questions that check how well you remember key words from the poem. Question 1. What was the shape of the bird's first house? The answer fits the pattern O, X, and starts with an O. Think about a rounded shape described in stanza 1. Question 2 asks what the bird's second nest was made of. The word has 5 letters with R as the 3rd letter. Hint: it's a natural building material, mentioned as straw in the poem. Question 3 inquires what the bird saw upon leaving its nest. A word starting with L and containing an E as the penultimate letter. This refers to the green covering seen when the bird explores. Finally, question 4 asks what the bird did at the end, a 4-letter word ending with W, indicating movement away from home. Try to answer each question silently. Then, check answers with a partner to compare your responses. Answers: A. Oval, the rounded shape like a shell. B. Straw, the nest's material. C. Leaves, what the bird saw. D. Flew, the bird's action at the end. Great work using clues and context to complete this vocabulary exercise. Recitation is a wonderful way to bring poetry to life, deepening your understanding and appreciation. Today, we will read the entire poem What a Bird Thought aloud together. As you recite, pay special attention to the rhyme scheme, the pattern of end rhymes, such as shell and well or nest and rest. This repetition creates rhythm and musicality, helping words flow beautifully. Pronounce key words carefully: pale, light-colored; fluttered, swift wing movements; and labors, hard work. When you reach lines where the bird expresses surprise or realization, Soften your voice to show wonder or reflection. Voice modulation, changing how loud or soft, fast or slow you speak, captures the emotions behind words. For example, say, I have been very blind, with a thoughtful tone, as if the bird is learning something new. After we finish, take a moment to think about how reciting changed your sense of the poem. Ready? Let's read aloud slowly and with feeling. Excellent. Through recitation, we've strengthened our language skills and entered the bird's experience with deeper emotion. Let's deepen our understanding by identifying the main idea of each stanza from What a Bird Thought. For stanza 1, think about the bird's initial home and feelings. Does it match option A, which says the bird steps out, or option B, which says the bird lived happily in a small world? If you say B, you're right. The bird enjoyed its first little shell world. Stanza 2 describes the bird's nest with its mother. The closest idea here is F, living in a cozy nest. In stanza 3, the bird flutters away to explore. So, match it with A, stepping out into the world. Stanza 4 talks about maturity and flying away as an adult. That fits perfectly with D. Options C and E are extra and don't fit the stanzas. There's no mention of being blind because of leaves or unhappiness with the nest. Pause for 20 seconds to reflect and match these ideas mentally. Great job. Recognizing main ideas helps us grasp the poem's flow. From sheltered beginnings, through discovery, to maturity. The bird is not just a character, it's our narrator guiding us through an imaginative journey. Notice how its point of view changes with each stanza. At the start, the bird sees the world as small, safe, and simple. A pale blue shell or straw nest represents security and innocence. This symbolizes childhood when our world is limited but comforting. As the bird takes flight, it becomes curious and begins to discover reality beyond its nest. Here, we hear humility. I have been very blind, admitting the limits of its knowledge. This is a powerful moment of self-awareness, teaching us about the bravery to grow and accept not knowing everything. By the poem's end, the bird fully embraces the complex adult world while acknowledging the mystery it holds, reflecting a mature and thoughtful POV. This development reminds us that everyone experiences growth filled with wonder, learning, and acceptance. Looking again at figure, reflect on the physical stages matching these emotional shifts. How does your own experience compare? Take 30 seconds to ponder this, then share or jot down your thoughts. Beautiful insights. Literature connects us deeply with universal themes, helping us understand ourselves and others. Let's explore the sparkling gems of poetry found in What a Bird Thought, the literary devices that make the poem vivid and engaging. First, the metaphor is a figure of speech that compares two things directly. When the poet writes, "The world is made of pale blue shell," this isn't literal, but paints the bird's perception of its home as delicate and encased, like a shell protecting its occupant. Next, onomatopoeia refers to words that imitate sounds. The word fluttered captures the soft, rapid beating of wings, making you almost hear the bird taking flight. Another device is alliteration, where initial consonant sounds repeat to add rhythm. For example, little nest creates a soothing musical effect when you say it aloud. All these devices play on your senses, sight, sound, and emotion to bring the bird's world alive in your imagination. Now, challenge yourself. Can you spot any metaphors, onomatopoeia, or alliteration in the poem? Or better yet, try creating your own example for each. Pause for 30 seconds to think and maybe write down your examples. Wonderful creativity. Using these devices empowers your writing and deepens your reading, connecting language and emotion beautifully. Rhyme is like music for the mind. In poetry, the rhyme scheme, the pattern of rhyming words at the line ends, creates a rhythm that helps readers feel the poem's flow and remember words easily. On your screen, table shows words from the poem in stanza 1, such as well and shell. These two words rhyme perfectly, sharing the same ending sound, pronounced clearly to emphasize the rhyme scheme. Below that, new rhyming words like fell are added to demonstrate how similar sounds can be paired creatively. A rhyme scheme helps organize the poem's structure and adds to its musical quality. Try this yourself. For the word well, think of words that rhyme like tell, bell, or sell. Rhymes can spark creativity in writing your own poems and are fun to practice. Pause and take 20 seconds to think of rhyming words for any word from the poem. Great. Seeing and creating rhymes is a joyful way to play with language and deepen your poetic voice. Now, it's your turn to become poets. Look at the short stanza displayed, which needs your creative touch to complete the missing words. The poem reads, I fly high and I fly low, but one thing I surely kai. Whenever I wish to rest, my little nest is the EBE. Think about words that start with K and end the sentence meaningfully, likely no. For the last word, ending with T, sweet fits perfectly, expressing affection for the nest. So the complete stanza might be, I fly high and I fly low, but one thing I surely know, whenever I wish to rest, my little nest is the sweet. Notice how the rhymes keep the poem melodic, and the words express the bird's feeling of home as a special and comforting place. Try composing your own short stanza using rhyming words that describe a place or feeling you love. Remember to keep a steady rhythm and express your emotions through your word choices. Take 30 seconds to draft your stanza or share it with a partner. Excellent creativity. Writing poetry helps us connect deeply with language and express ideas beautifully. As we conclude our exploration of What a Bird Thought, let's look once again at the image shown in Figure the Tree with its bird family, a living symbol of nature's harmony and the source of our poem's inspiration. The poem takes us on a journey from the safe, small worlds of a baby bird to the vast, sometimes unknowable world of adulthood. We witness the bird's growth through curiosity, self-awareness, and acceptance of life's mysteries. This journey mirrors our own experiences. When you were younger, your world might have seemed small and simple. With time and exploration, you learned much more, sometimes feeling surprised or humbled. Literature like this poem helps us reflect on these universal changes, connecting emotions and observations through beautiful language. Pause now and reflect on your own journey. How did your perspective change as you grew? What new understandings did you gain about the world and yourself? Thank you for joining this poetic flight today. Remember, both nature and imagination have endless lessons to offer. Keep observing, thinking, and creating. The world is a wonderful place to learn from, just like our little bird has shown us.